Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The New York Mets play the Arizona Diamondbacks. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better with Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-1-TWC today. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in-store or online at mybobs.com. By Mazda, driving matters. And by New York Community Bank and the NYCB family of banks. Well, enough of snakes in the desert. Mets will be saying goodbye to Arizona after the game today. One more game to play at Chase Field. Met fans have been out in force throughout this series, enjoying the plethora of runs or perhaps relaxing in the tub. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Arizona. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the rubber game of their series against the Diamondbacks. Mets finally got a win against Arizona last night after losing 4 straight to the Diamondbacks. And part of the reason they won was the performance of T.J. Rivera, who had a kind of a star-crossed night. Not so great in the field, but T.J. in just his 5th big league game went 4 for 4.
He had a big 4 for 4, and there wasn't a cheap hit in the lot there. He had 4 balls extremely hard. He struggled at third base defensively. Terry Collins has put him at second base. He thinks he's a little bit too nervous. He's not really fit in. He's not comfortable yet. He wants to put him in a position where he has a little more time to relax in the field. But obviously his bat yesterday was a big part of that win. He scored 2 runs, 4 for 4.
It's back to the future night for the Mets on the mound tonight. Left-hander John Neese, who made his first start for the Mets in 2008, makes his first start since returning from the Pirates.
Well, with the Pirates, he was 8-6 with an ERA over 5. He started out in that rotation and was thrown into the bullpen. Came over here in the trade with Bastardo going to the Pirates. This is his first start. He is looking to get going here. He's coming off a relief appearance where he gave up 6 runs to this ball club back at Citi Field. He's looking for a redeemer.
John's had a bit of a tender knee, so the Mets will keep their eye on that. Meanwhile, for the Diamondbacks, Zach Godley, who had been exiled to the bullpen, he's back in the rotation for Arizona.
Well, he won. He was 5-1 last year with this Diamondback ball club with an ERA of 3.12. This year, his ERA is over 5, but I have been told that he goes after hitters. He works fast, hard sinker, curve, changeup, a battler.
So it's the Mets and the Diamondbacks wrapping up their series in Phoenix. Mets will be heading to San Francisco after the game tonight. Mets and D-backs, all the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. Delta Dugout. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Take advantage of a special Coca-Cola combo offer in select seating areas during all remaining Mets home games. Tickets start at just $19 and include a $10 food and beverage credit, so you can cheer on the Mets while enjoying your favorite Coca-Cola products. Tickets for this offer are only available at Mets.com/combo. Driver on the Majors presented by Chevy. Andrew McCutchen a 2-run homer, capping a 6-run fifth inning against Matt Cain. Pirates beat the Giants 6-5. Giants are now 9-20 since the All-Star break. Brandon Moss a 3-run homer. Carlos Martinez no hit the Astros for the first 5 innings, and the Cardinals maintain the second wild card lead with an 8-2 win. And Steven Strasburg got clubbed, got knocked out in the second inning by the Rockies. Strasburg over his last 3 starts, 0-3, a 14.66 ERA. Rockies won that game 12-10. 110 in the shade today. We'll be indoors at Chase Field for the final game of the series. Mets and D-backs. First pitch is coming right up. Tonight, notable that Curtis Granderson has been dropped to number 6 in the order. It's been a huge struggle for Curtis. First time he's hit down in the 6th spot this season. Kelly Johnson moves into the 2-hole. TJ Rivera promoted to the 5 spot after his 4-for-4 game last night.
And there's your starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Zach Godley, 26 years old, 6'3", 240. They're all big horses now. South Carolinian, went to the University of Tennessee.
Jose Reyes leads off. Jose having a terrific series, and he takes the first pitch outside for ball 1, and we're underway. Reyes 4 for 8 in the first 2 games with a triple and 3 RBIs. 83 at bats deep into his season. And he bluffs the bunt and takes a strike from Godley. 1-1. Reyes, Johnson, and Bruce for the Mets in the opening inning. Mets have scored 13 runs in the first 2 games of this series, and they've got more offensive reinforcements on the way. Reyes bangs one foul outside first, 1-2. Both Asdrubal Cabrera and Yoenis Cespedes played for St. Lucie tonight. Cabrera could be back as soon as tomorrow night. Cespedes is eligible on Friday night, so the Mets should have a little more offensive depth for the series with the Giants that begins tomorrow. And they'll need it. Two big series coming up against San Francisco and St. Louis. Reyes pulls one on the ground toward the hole. That'll sneak through for a base hit. Goldschmidt thought about going for the ball and then pulled up, and it trickled through the hole, and the Mets have a leadoff base run.
Well, he got jammed here big time, but these fast infields. Watch Goldschmidt on your right of your screen. I don't think he made the right choice, Gary. He wasn't going to get to that ball. And the Mets are off on the right foot.
So Reyes now 5 for 9 in this series. He has really begun to swing the bat well. Kelly Johnson in the 2-hole tonight. He homered last night, his 8th of the year. 7 of the 8 have come since joining the Mets. And Kelly takes low and in for ball 1.
And you can see already that Godley is a hard sinker ball pitcher, looking to get the ground ball. Only 35 strikeouts in 44 2/3 innings. Not a strikeout guy.
He throws sinkers and cutters, relies on a good curveball. 1-0 to Johnson with Bruce on deck. And Kelly pulls one off the glove of Goldschmidt, rolls out to Segura. The throw back to Goldschmidt in time. Now, the Mets are fortunate because if Goldschmidt catches that ball, it's a line drive double play, which happened earlier in this series in the first inning.
Just a bullet off the bat of Kelly Johnson, and very unfortunate here. It's going to be a 3-4-3 on your scorecard.
Remember, on Monday night, Reyes got aboard to lead off the game, and Curtis Granderson hit a line drive to Goldschmidt that turned into a double play. This goes as a 3-4-3 put out for the first out, and Reyes winds up at second. Now Jay Bruce, who was on base 3 times last night, including a double, is hoping that his bat gets going. He's the only hitter in the Mets lineup tonight who's faced Godley before. 1 for 3 against him, and he hits a ground ball to the right side. Segura from the outfield grass throws him out as Reyes goes to third. Now there are 2 out.
Coors Light defense of your Arizona Diamondbacks. Ricky Weeks out in left field. He's been platooned, the former Milwaukee Brewer. On the infield, we got Goldschmidt at first base, perennial all-star Drury playing third base. And Tuffy Gosowicz, who had a home run in that series, that 3-game series up in New York.
Hit off John Neese.
Yes, he did. He's behind the plate.
Here's James Loney, who's hit a slump. 0 for 4 last night, just 2 for his last 26. Has seen his batting average shrink to .270. Reyes at third with 2 down. It's been aggressive early in the count against Godley, who's usually right around the plate. And Loney takes a fastball outside for ball 1. Zach Godley made 3 relief outings since his last start on August 3rd against Washington. Most recently, Friday night in Boston, he went 5 1/3 in relief, allowed 1 run, 2 hits, and now back into the rotation. Took Patrick Corbin's spot, slashed just outside the bag, a foul ball, and it's 1-1 to Loney.
Seems like Loney, and he's struggling a tad. He falls back on his back foot and gets. You really, you want to drive off that back foot forward with your stride, and then your front foot balances you so you don't lunge. But he's kind of falling back on his back foot. That's what I'm noticing right now. See how he kind of recoils back, and that's the way he swings to a degree. But it's been a little trouble for him. You can see the frustration in his face. Whenever you're in a slump, there's pitches you should hit and you don't hit them.
It's really the first slump he's been in since the Mets picked him up back in May. He's had 237 at bats since he took over the first base job with the injury to Lucas Duda, which turned out to be a season-ending one. That gets away from Gosowicz, and Reyes will come in with the first run of the night.
Curveball in the dirt. And that hit him up in the chest. I wonder if it hit Loney's bat on the bounce.
Well, apparently not. Chip Hale's not arguing about it. It did sound kind of clunky, like it might have hit a bat, but it might have hit part of the mask or part of the chest protector that made that sound. So on the wild pitch, the Mets get the first run of the night. 2-2 to Loney with 2 out and nobody on. So a single, 2 ground outs, and a wild pitch produce a Reyes run in the first inning. And the changeup off the plate, and a full count to Loney. I mean, you can say that Reyes' speed didn't have a lot to do with that run, but more and more Jose has been getting on base at the top of the batting order and finding his way home.
It's all about a leadoff hitter. It's about getting the runs home.
3-2 coming, and Loney strikes out on a pitch in the dirt, or did he make contact? He did not, and so Gosewich makes the throw to first in time to complete the strikeout, and that ends the inning. But the Mets cash a first inning run against Zach Godley. John Neese takes the mound for the Mets when we come back. Ricky Weeks slots into the cleanup spot against the left-hander. Second start for Mitch Haniger, who had a great major league debut last night. He's the only left-handed bat in the lineup against John Neese. Gene Segura, first pitch swinging, pops one up in his shallow right. Long run for Jay Bruce, and he gets there for the first out. One pitch, and John Neese has his first out.
There's John Neese's Land Rover numbers. First start as a Met. Gary mentioned his tender knee. We'll see how that has an effect on his start. First start as a Met since returning.
John said the knee issue began last year as Mitch Haniger steps in. Haniger 2 for 4 in his debut last night, a double and a triple. John said when he works out of the bullpen, the knee tends to be more of an issue. When he has the regular 4 days between starts, it doesn't seem to bother him. And this is outside, a ball and a strike. That'll be kind of a strange homecoming of sorts for John. Made his first start for the Mets in September of 2008. And here he is 8 years later, back in a Mets uniform and starting again. It's his 178th start as a Met. Only 9 pitchers have started more games in franchise history. And he misses down low with a curveball, 2-2.
Looks like John is really rushing his arm. His arm action's rushed. Keep an eye on that. I've not seen that before. Usually John's pretty fluid throwing home.
To Haniger, and he strikes him out with a sinker away for his first strikeout of the night.
And the Met defense, Lexus defense. Piazza in center field. He's been playing a very good center field. A switch for Rue right here in the infield. T.J. Rivera going to second base. Kelly Johnson over to third. Darno behind the plate, who's been swinging a pretty good bat.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt. And he takes a curveball for a strike. 5 games against the Mets this year. Goldschmidt is 10 for 19 and has an extra base hit in every game. He's been an enormous force against the Mets this stretch of games. Mets playing all 6 of their games against the Diamondbacks in a 10-day span.
Well, one of the premier hitters in the game. And why is he one of the premier hitters? Because he uses the opposite field gap. He uses the entire field.
He's working quickly, and he misses away with the changeup, and it's 3-1.
See the defense there. Slight shade in the outfield to the opposite field. Diaz, a little slight shade, and that right center field gap is what you want to take away from Goldschmidt.
That's on the outside corner, a cutter, and it's 3-2. Goldschmidt hitting .341 against lefties this year. That's in the top 10 in the league. .3-2 coming, and he fouls it away. He's got off to a good start in Pittsburgh this year. Part of that was the 7 scoreless innings he threw against the Mets back in June. But his first 12 starts for the Pirates, he was 6-2 with a 3.93 ERA. He was doing fine. And then things went backwards for him, and he eventually lost his spot in the rotation there. Goldschmidt takes outside for ball 4. And so the Diamondbacks have their first base runner.
That's 2 close pitches on the outside corner that Neese thought he had. And kind of moaning a little bit at the umpire. And that's Chad Fairchild behind the plate.
So now a bit of a back to the future moment for Jon Niese. When John made his first big league start in September of 2008, it was in Milwaukee. The leadoff hitter for the Brewers that night was Ricky Weeks, who hit a home run, the first batter John faced in the major leagues. And now 8 years later, here they are meeting again. Weeks getting the start against the lefty, takes a strike.
Weeks in the cleanup role, .288 hitter with 4 home runs against left-handers in 52 at bats.
Goldschmidt at first, a threat to run. Niese does a very good job controlling the running game, quick to the plate. Of course, that's been an ongoing issue with the Mets, as Yasmani Tomas waiting on deck. Diamondbacks have stolen 19 bases in 5 games against the Mets these last 2 weeks. Weeks chops one to third. Kelly Johnson will go the short way and get the force. That ends the inning. So a successful first inning for Jon Niese. He's got a 1-0 lead going to the second. Second inning, TJ Rivera leads off against Zach Godley and takes a strike. TJ had a memorable night last night, going 4 for 4 in just his 5th big league game. He's only the 4th player in Mets history to have a 4-hit game inside his first 5 starts in the majors. He rolls one out to the second baseman. Segura throws him out, 1 away. The others for the record who went 4 for 4 within their first 5 starts. Mike Vail,
My first roommate in professional baseball.
famously had a 23-game hitting streak right at the end of his rookie season.
Right.
Josh Thole had a 4 for 4 game, and Michael Conforto in his 2nd game last year against the Dodgers went 4 for 4.
Mike Vail was my first roommate in the minor leagues, Gary, when I was 18 years old.
That must have been something.
He was a Looney Tune.
Curtis Granderson takes a strike.
The night of the final cut. Now I'm a $30,000 bonus baby, and I'm not worried about. I'm not getting cut. Mike kept me up all night, all night. Serious. He was just. He was hyper anyway, and he played that way. That's the way he played. He was never a great fielder, but he had that great rookie year where he really swung the bat.
Yeah. Granderson hooks one foul. You know the famous story about Mike Vail, right? He went in asking for a raise one year, and the general manager told him, come back to me when you're a 300 hitter and you'll get a raise. So the next year he starts out the first day 1 for 3, and he goes into the GM's office.
Oh, he's crazy.
Hitter.
So who was the GM?
I forgot.
Oh gosh.
But it's a great story, right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, but that's, you know, he was a little offbeat. But he was a great hope for the Mets during some of their dark days, and it just never panned out for him after that great beginning to his career. 2-2 to Granderson, who's 1 for 9 in this series, dropped to the 6 hole for the first time this year. In fact, the first time he's hit 6 since 2014, when he had some success in this slot in the order. Travis d'Arnaud on deck. It scratched out a run in the first inning on a single, 2 groundouts and a wild pitch. 3-2 coming, and Granderson strikes out on the sinker. Second strikeout for Godley, who's now retired 5 in a row. Good movement on that sinker.
Yeah, but it didn't start out as a strike. I mean, Curtis is really struggling.
Here's Travis d'Arnaud. Travis didn't play last night. Rene Rivera got the start because Noah Syndergaard was pitching. But d'Arnaud's bat has begun to pick up, 7 for 10 over the last 3 games. And Travis hits it sharply, and Owings bailing out, able to play it off to the side and throw out d'Arnaud to end the inning. Not the way they teach you, but it worked for Chris Owings. And Zach Godley sets the Mets down in order. Olay! Hey, hey!
Boy, oh boy.
Like he had a red cape.
Second time he's done that.
With the MLB.com and Bat app, which includes game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com and Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Yasmani Tomas takes a changeup for a strike as we start the home second. Tomas has homered twice in this series. He has 6 home runs now in his last 9 games, 23 for the year, after hitting just 9 as a rookie last year. And Nice's pitch is fouled off, and it's 0-2.
Well, it's a big, strong guy looking to pull, hitting .308 with 7 home runs against left-handers this year, and that's only in 91 at bats. That's makes him very, very dangerous.
Missed the series in New York with a stiff neck, but he homered against Hansel Robles here on Monday night, homered against Noah Syndergaard last night. And Nice misses away 1-2. John made 29 starts for the Mets last year before they pushed him to the bullpen to get him ready for the postseason, and he pitched well in the postseason with the exception of 1 outing in the World Series. Good curveball to strike out Tomas, and that's the 2nd strikeout for John. 1 down in the 2nd.
Got him completely out in front.
You know, that's the pitch, Keith, that got him to the big leagues, that big hook.
Right.
And in recent years, he's thrown it less and less, which has always been puzzling to me.
You got a curveball, you got to throw it. I think, as opposed to going to a cutter, which John went right there.
I mean, this year so far, he's thrown his curveball 8% of the time. There was a time earlier in his career he was throwing it 20 to 25% of the time. There's the curveball. T.J. Rivera gets in front of it, and he throws out Owings by a stride, and there are 2 away. By the way, if you're wondering about T.J. Rivera defensively, he's played more games at second base in his professional career than at any other position. This year he had played mostly third base in Vegas, but second base is certainly a spot he is very familiar with.
I think they probably moved him over there because of the health of David Wright, uncertainty of David's health, which was obviously well founded. David out for the year with the neck surgery. Just you know, get him over there, get him familiarized, and see if he can play it.
There's Brandon Drury, who's playing third base tonight. He's been moved all over the place by the Diamondbacks.
And don't forget they had Dilson Herrera down there, who was going to be playing second base.
Dilson went to Cincinnati in the deal for Jay Bruce. The same day that the Mets reacquired John Nice for Antonio Bastardo. Bastardo got a win in relief for the Pirates last night when they beat the Giants, and the Pirates beat the Giants again today.
Yes, they did. The Cardinals won.
Miami is trailing tonight. They're down 3-2 to Cincinnati in the 8th. 3-0 pitch, and that's outside, ball 4. So for the 2nd straight inning, Nice issues a 2-out walk. So the Mets need to win to stay 3 games behind St. Louis for the 2nd wild card. There's ball 4.
Dodgers are winning. They're going to go up another game on the Giants.
Dodgers took over first place last night. First time that the Giants have been out of first place since May the 10th. And now there could be a game and a half back at the end of the day, and slipping down into that wild card scrum. Here's Tuffy Gozowicz, who's celebrating his 33rd birthday today. And the Diamondback catcher takes low and in ball 1. As Keith mentioned, Gozowicz homered against Nice in that 6-run inning that John suffered in relief last week against Arizona. In fact, Gozowicz has 13 at bats against lefties this year. He's 6 for 13 with 3 home runs against left-handed pitching. And Nice keeps it away from him, 2-0. So John, after getting 2 quick outs here in the 2nd, has thrown 6 straight balls. And now 3-0 to the 2nd straight hitter. You got the pitcher Godley on deck. Drury at first with 2 out, and Gozowicz takes a strike, 3-1. James Benjamin Gosewich, 33 today. John Neese will turn 30 this October 27th. You know that. It's the 30th anniversary of the Mets winning the World Series for the last time.
86. Yes, you're right.
October the 27th.
Was that what it was?
John was born the day the Mets last won the World Series. We always said he was born to be a Met. Drury gets set to run. 3-2 to Gosewich. And he pops one a mile high. Who's going to get it? Darno circles it and stays with it. Side retired. We go to the third in Arizona. The Mets up 1-0. De Aza will lead off against Zach Godley. De Aza had a good night at the plate last night. Had a couple of doubles and two very hard hit balls the 2 times he was retired. De Aza hitting 8th in the order. John Neese on deck, and then Jose Reyes for the Mets in the 3rd. Mets scratched out a run in the 1st inning against Zach Godley, who since has retired 6 in a row. De Aza takes it wide, ball 1. De Aza playing center field tonight. And will probably continue to get a lot of playing time in center field. But with the return of Yoenis Cespedes set for Friday, Cespedes is going to play exclusively at left, at least for the moment. So that means Curtis Granderson will get time in center field as well. But it's going to be crowded enough out there that if Curtis doesn't start hitting soon and De Aza continues to play well, it might be an interesting choice for Terry Collins on a day-to-day basis. There's ball 4, and De Aza draws a leadoff walk. Now the Diamondbacks are wearing a patch on their jersey in memory of Joe Garagiola, who passed away in March. He is memorialized throughout this ballpark, particularly in the press box. Joe, who had such a great career as a broadcaster after his playing career, both as a sports broadcaster and, of course, in other pursuits.
Terrific guy. What a career. Think about it. Grew up in St. Louis with Yogi Berra, and the hill that the neighborhood was called, which was an Italian neighborhood right by the old Checker Dome in St. Louis, where the St. Louis Blues used to play. And then he went on, of course, from the Today Show to Game of the Weeks, and he did it when I played, which was the play-by-play guy, and just a terrific guy. He paid me a very high compliment, but not to my face. I overheard him.
East gets the bunt down. Godley will make the toss to first. 1-4 on the sacrifice.
I always liked Joe, and when I became a star in St. Louis, I went up and said hello to him when he showed up for a game of the week. And as he walked away, he was with someone. And he said, "One of the good guys," and I overheard it, and it made me feel good because they have that kind of praise from him. He was just a terrific guy, great sense of humor. And for someone that was basically a backup catcher, I believe he had a collision early in his career with Jackie Robinson. Don't quote me on that. And he was hurt, and he was a much better hitter, but with the injury, he was never the same as an offensive player. Most of his career a backup catcher. And to go on and do what he did, going into today's show, broadcasting, just a phenomenal life.
Well, Joe was honored at Cooperstown with the Ford Frick Award. I'm not sure if he was the first former player to be honored for broadcasting excellence with the Ford Frick Award, but he was among the first. And of course, as Reyes bounces one back to Godley, he's got De Aza trapped between second and third. And De Aza's tagged out. Reyes slides safely into second.
Well, that is a no-no. Allowing the runner. It's a poor execution of a rundown. Now let's break it down here. The pitcher does the right thing. Now you've got to close down the backside here.
Third baseman Kelly Johnson.
Owings didn't close it down on the backside. Too much time that allows Reyes to advance to second base. You never wait when the runner is being run back to your base. All you kids out there, you can close. You want to close the distance so the runner has to go back and forth. You just close him in a vise. He has nowhere to go but get tagged out.
So it's 1-5-6 on the fielder's choice. Reyes winds up at second with 2 out for Kelly Johnson. You know, the other thing that Joe Garagiola did a lot of, which he only gets partial credit for, he helped popularize a lot of the Yogi-isms that we know. Now, how many of those Yogi said and Joe transmitted to the world, and how many of them Joe made up on his own, we'll never know. But he certainly made Yogi into so much more of a national figure with his reminiscences about growing up with Yogi Berra. Johnson grounds out. Stays 1-0 Mets as we go to the bottom of the third. Starting pitcher to win a game for the Mets after defeating them earlier in the season. That's what John Neese is trying to do tonight. John threw 7 scoreless innings against the Mets in Pittsburgh in June and beat them. And now trying to win a game for them. Zach Godley is opposite number at the plate. Godley 1 for 12 this year, 2 for 21 in his major league career. And he goes after the cutter and misses 1 and 2. That's a great question.
I would like to see it up there again if I could, guys. I was fooling around with my scorecard.
He strikes out Godley with a curveball, his third strikeout. The question is, who's the only starting pitcher to win a game for the Mets after beating the Mets earlier in the season?
Ah, okay.
That's what Nice is trying. Interestingly, no, I'm not going to give it a hint. I'll give it a hint.
You have an idea? You know who it is?
I know who it is, and it was the same team that Nice was traded from. The guy who did it was traded from to the Mets. Gene Segura flied out his first time up. And he takes one at the knees for a strike, 1-1. Segura's been a huge pain in the Mets side during these 6 games. He's 4 for 9 in this series. There's 9 hits so far in the 5 games. 2 balls and a strike. John's taking Logan Verrett's spot of the rotation after Verrett had such a rough time of it his last time out on Friday against San Diego. On the inside corner, a strike, and of course ultimately it's Matt Harvey's spot that he's taking in the rotation. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Gene Segura tied with Daniel Murphy for the National League lead in hits. And that's on the inside corner, and Segura caught looking. So back-to-back strikeouts for Nice to start the 3rd.
Fastball in with 2 strikes. John pitches that sinker away. He's got to pop it inside to keep those right-handers honest. Get ahead in the count, and you can pop hitters in. That's when they're vulnerable.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Mitch Haniger, who struck out his first time up. Haniger out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo made his big league debut last night. Former first-round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers. Traded to the Diamondbacks for Gerardo Parra 2 summers ago. Parra had a big day for the Rockies today, drove in 4 runs in their win over the Nationals. Haniger was not a big-time prospect, but he had a great season this year in the minors. 25 home runs combined between AA and AAA, 24, and hit .325, and really burst onto the prospect radar. And had a really nice game last night. Not only the 2 extra base hits, also made a sliding catch in left field, showed off a good arm. They've got him playing center field tonight. 2-2 coming. And that's on the outside corner, got him looking. And John Nice strikes out the side in the 3rd inning. So John off to a terrific start in his first start for the Mets this year. He's got a 1-0 lead after 3. 4th inning, Jay Bruce leads off against Zach Godley. Mets with a 1-0 lead, and a curveball from Godley in for a strike. Bruce grounded out to second base his first time up. It's been only 1 hit in this game. Jose Reyes, first batter of the game, snuck a base hit through the right side, came around to score on a couple of ground outs and a wild pitch. John Neese hasn't allowed a hit through the first 3, and Godley has not allowed a hit since that only one.
Well, Bruce attacked the first pitch his first time up and played into the hands of a right-hand sinker baller. He rolled it over. 4-3 on your scorecard. And with the way the defense is set up on the right side of the infield, which has been the entire series of Jay Bruce, you can see on your right there Segura way out in the outfield. Why would you want to pull the ball when you've got all that left center field gap?
The whole left side of the infield open as well.
And a sinker ball pitcher that's going to pitch you outside.
And Bruce hits it right into the shift. Nice easy hop for Segura. And there's the first out of the inning. Road Ahead presented by GMC. Mets begin a 4-game series in San Francisco tomorrow night. Night games Thursday, Friday, a day game Saturday. The Sunday game has been moved to Sunday night. That'll be on ESPN. We won't be there.
We will not.
Sorry. We'll rejoin you in St. Louis Tuesday. 3 games with the Cardinals, and then the Mets get home to play the Phillies next Friday night.
Folks, I want to be honest with you here. Sometimes I can be brutally honest. But I was very happy that ESPN took that game because that's my hometown and I'm staying with my brother, as I always do. I don't see my brother that often. It's the only brother that I have, only sibling. And I'm staying at his house and I get a whole Sunday with him. So that's wonderful for me.
Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Segura with a nice backhand stop gets up and throws out Loney. Good play by Gene Segura for the second out.
Well, I thought this was a base hit. Just a terrific play. Fast infield here. Now I have been rescheduled, Gary, because we're lifted from that game. I have to do my 110 games, so I've got the first game in St. Louis Tuesday night. I was rescheduled in St. Louis, and I'm happy about that.
What do you mean the first game in St. Louis? What about the second and third games?
I was not. I was scheduled to miss that series. But Mr. Gowdy, I have to do 110 games. ESPN has power over SNY, so I've got to make up a game, and it's going to be in St. Louis.
But
the
as
first
long
game.
as you're there, why don't you stay? I mean,
well,
don't they still like you in St. Louis?
Sure they do.
Or are you afraid you're going to show up for one game and they're going to run you out of town?
I got an appearance on the next day in New York. I can't hang around.
TJ Rivera gets tied in a knot. It's 1-1. So the truth comes out.
But I'm happy to be in New York. I mean, excuse me, in St. Louis for the first game. I get to see my friend Rick, my old buddy there, and we'll have dinner and all that good stuff.
I'm just glad you get to hang out with your brother.
I am too.
That's the best part of the story.
And we get in at 1:30 tonight in San Francisco, folks. And my brother is picking me up at the airport. So, what a guy.
He is.
He's my greatest fan.
He's got a good first name, too.
It's right, Gary. Glad I wasn't named Gary. Could have been me.
Could have been, but he came first. He got the good name, and, well, you got Keith.
Yes. But that's right. Welsh surname. Go figure.
Two and two to TJ Rivera, who grounded out his first time up. And he pops this one up into shallow center. Haniger coming in, Owings going out, and Owings makes the catch to end the inning. So Zach Godley with 3 straight innings without allowing a hit, but it's still the Mets 1-0 in the 4th. Paul Goldschmidt leads off in the home 4th inning against John Neese, who struck out the side in the 3rd. Goldschmidt drew a walk his first time up, one of 2 walks for Neese, who struck out 5 already. The most strikeouts John has had in a game this year is 7, and he's already struck out 5 in the first 3 innings. So early on in this game, John Neese has been locked in. One-two coming, and it's off the inside corner with a cutter. 2-2. Ricky Weeks on deck. Then Yasmani Tomas for the Diamondbacks in the 4th, looking for their first hit. 2-2 to Goldschmidt, and it's bounced foul. Paul Goldschmidt, 2-time National League MVP runner-up in 2013, and then again last year. Last year, distant runner-up to Bryce Harper. Fouls it back. It's startling what's happened to Harper this year.
It is. It's interesting when we ran in. We mentioned the broadcast last night that we ran into David Segui, the former Met first baseman, when we were hiking on Squaw Peak, Squaw Mountain, and he had been working, was his winter instructor.
Hit hard. Goldschmidt has the first Arizona hit.
No, that's the ball that Goldschmidt will pull. He goes up the middle, and the off-speed breaking stuff. That's what you leave it out over the plate. He's going to go rake it and pull.
For more on Paul Goldschmidt, let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, if you ever get a chance to watch Paul Goldschmidt take batting practice, it's actually rather unimpressive. Not a lot of those home runs, just mostly line drives up the middle, hard ground balls to the opposite side. And it's part of what makes him such a good hitter, is that he focuses on what he can take forward with him into the game and doesn't try and do anything that will put him into some bad habits. It's something that Goldschmidt says he started doing back when he was in high school. He would go to Houston Astros games as a fan, but he would get there for opposing teams' batting practice and would watch often when the Cardinals were in how Albert Pujols took batting practice. And he was a guy, a big power hitter, obviously, but someone who did not try and hit the home runs during batting practice ever since he was in high school because of Pujols. That's the way that Goldschmidt has been approaching it.
Well, Steve, that's the beauty of baseball. The kids come early. You never know who's watching you when you're on the road, and you have an impact or an influence or something that you do in your preparation that they watch you, or as you play the game, and that you impart. And obviously this young man here, Mr. Goldschmidt, one of the great stars of the game today, was what he wanted to do was be a major league player, and going and watching a star, and a star giving him something that he can take with him.
Well, also a star who did it the right way, and I think that's part of the point, is that, you know, Pujols is a great home run hitter, but for the prime of his career, he was also a high average hitter.
Yes.
One of those guys who could use the whole field.
Right.
And to do that, I guess you have to work at it.
You have to, there's nothing new. You get your bad habits in your practice. All you kids out there, your batting practice, your fielding practice, your throwing. If you la-di-da it,
taking off is Goldschmidt. The throw by d'Arnaud is not in time. As soon as that ball hit the dirt, Goldschmidt was on the move, and he takes second on a very short wild pitch.
You don't have to be a fast runner. It's going to be a wild pitch blocked nicely by d'Arnaud, but if you're on your toes when you pitch, as you can see right there, he's on his toes. I wish I would have pointed out to the right of your screen. If you've got your momentum going, you should be on the balls of your feet and ready to go towards second or back to first, depending on how the ball's hit, or if it's a pickoff play. You're ready to move when the ball is in the dirt like that. And he's not the fastest guy in the world. You don't have to be fast. It's good base running.
2-2 to Tomas, who smokes one to deep left field. Back goes Granderson, back near the wall, and it's out of here. Ricky Weeks with a 2-run homer to put the Diamondbacks in front, 2-1. So Ricky Weeks, who opened John Neese's career with a home run, greets him again with a 2-run homer to put the Diamondbacks in front.
It looked to me right there, Gary, he was looking for something in. And he got it in. Got under it, but the ball carries here. And there was no doubt.
Now Tomas grounds one foul.
Got it up.
Well, you mentioned earlier how Weeks has hit against left-handers. The reason that Chip Hill put him in the cleanup spot against John Neese, and it pays off for the Diamondbacks.
Absolutely, Gary. That's his 5th home run off left-handers in 54 at bats.
And Tomas follows with a long one, and this is going to go. Back-to-back home runs for Weeks and Tomas. Tomas homers in all 3 games in the series, and the Diamondbacks now lead 3-1. 24th of the year for Yasmani Tomas.
Didn't waste any time. I believe this was a cutter that stayed out over the plate. And I mentioned also that he's the most dangerous hitter against the left-handers. That's his 8th home run against left-handers in 93 at bats. Very dangerous. Wanted it away. Oh boy, just stayed flat. Inner half.
Owings lines one, and Reyes able to snag it, and that's the first out of the inning. Well, a night that began well for John Neese with 3 scoreless innings and 5 strikeouts, deteriorating in a hurry.
Oh, he knows he made a mistake there. The other one he looked at, but this one he knew from the get-go that it was gone.
That is 25 home runs that John Neese has allowed this year. Started the night 3rd in the National League in home runs allowed. This one's driven out to right field by Drury, and over comes Bruce to get it, and that's the second out. Well, with the 2 tonight, he's tied with Max Scherzer for the 2nd most home runs allowed in the National League, your Porsche leaderboard. Now Tuffy Gosewich, who's fouled out his first time up. And he takes curveball for a strike. Chases that curveball, and it's 1-2. The Dodgers won their game tonight. They beat the Phillies 7-2. Adrian Gonzalez hit 2 homers and drove in 5. So the Dodgers now lead the Giants by a game and a half in the NL West.
Kansas City almost at 500 now with the win over the Tigers today.
They scored 3 in the ninth to beat Detroit.
The American League is very interesting, particularly in that East.
Toronto won today, beat the Yankees. Baltimore and Boston on a rain delay right now. They started the day a game behind. 2-2 coming. Grounded to Reyes. Shuffles to his left and throws out Gosewich to end the inning. But back-to-back home runs from Ricky Weeks and Yasmani Tomas doing damage against John Neese. 3-1 Arizona after 4. Surprise and trivia question. We asked who was the only starting pitcher to win a game for the Mets after defeating the Mets earlier in the year. It was Chris Benson who was traded from the Pirates to the Mets at the deadline in 2004. Chris Benson at one time the #1 overall pick in the draft when he came out of Clemson. Curtis Granderson leads off for the Mets in the 5th inning against Zack Godley, who now has himself a lead for the first time tonight. Godley allowed a hit to Reyes to open the game. Reyes came around to score, and Godley hasn't allowed a hit since. Granderson struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the dirt his first time up. And Curtis takes outside for ball 1. Granderson, d'Arnaud, and De Aza 6, 7, and 8 in the order. As they stack the right side of the infield against Curtis. And he takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 1-1. One-two from Godley, and he strikes him out with a changeup. Third strikeout for Godley. Second time he's gotten Granderson.
Chased a bad one here.
Travis d'Arnaud.
7 in a row retired now by Godley, and Travis d'Arnaud the batter. d'Arnaud hit the ball sharply his first time up, grounded out to Owings at short. Sits high for ball 1.
Well, d'Arnaud certainly has been all over that baseball of late. He's been swinging a hot bat. He's got an 0 for tonight, but he hit a bullet right at the shortstop.
Gets this one to center field, and Haniger has it lined up. 2 out. That's the first outfield put out behind Zack Godley tonight. 2 out and nobody on for Alejandro De Aza. De Aza drew a 4-pitch walk his first time up and came leading off in the 3rd inning. That was the last Met base runner. Zack Godley, 26 years old, born in Bamberg, South Carolina, the same town that produced Mookie Wilson. In fact, Godley also went from Bamberg, South Carolina to Spartanburg Methodist College, where Mookie played junior college ball. So he's on the Mookie Wilson trail.
Yes, he is. Following in Mookie's footsteps.
Mookie went on from Spartanburg Methodist onto the University of South Carolina, whereas Zack Godley went from junior college to the University of Tennessee. So that's where he broke the path.
I had no idea that Mookie went to South Carolina. So there were 2 Gamecocks on that Met team in '84, '85, '86. They had Lynch and Mookie. I did not realize that.
Oh, and 2 to De Aza. Just missed away. 1-2. And he got tied up. Went around on the half swing. Gosewich makes the toss. Side retired. 9 in a row retired by Godley. He's got his 4th strikeout of the night. And he's got a 3-1 lead halfway through in Arizona. Fifth inning, Zach Godley leads off and takes a strike from John Neese. Godley struck out his first time up, one of 5 strikeouts for Neese. John gave up a leadoff single to Paul Goldschmidt, then back-to-back home runs to Ricky Weeks and Yasmani Tomas in the 4th inning, and that have him down 3-1. Ball and 2 strikes to Godley with Gene Segura on deck, and then Mitch Haniger for the Diamondbacks in the 5th. Ground a foul ball. It's been a while since Neese made a start. His last start for the Pirates was July the 10th, so that's more than 5 weeks ago. So there's certainly concern about how deep he can go into this game. And there's already some movement in the Mets bullpen as Eric Adell gets up. That's hit sharply through the right side, and Godley's got a base hit. 3rd career hit for the Diamondbacks pitcher. Leadoff base runner for Arizona. Tomorrow night the Mets are in San Francisco to open their 4-game series with the Giants. A marquee pitching matchup. Jacob deGrom against Madison Bumgarner tomorrow night. You see the rest of the series. Matson Cueto, another good matchup Friday night. Saturday afternoon, Bartolo Colon against Matt Moore, the lefty whom they got from Tampa Bay. And then Noah Syndergaard Sunday night against Jeff Samardzija. The Giants are now 9-21 since the All-Star break.
They got off to the bad start early this year, Garrett, and then they got hot, and now the All-Star break was not kind to them.
And they have just a 2-game lead over St. Louis, holding that first wild card. Now they're out of first place. Pirates beat the Giants, so they're still a game behind St. Louis. Miami lost tonight, so they're 2 behind. And the Mets would need to win to stay 3 back. Segura flies one to deep right center field. Back goes De Aza to the warning track, right at the wall to make the catch. Segura hit that ball a long way. That's a long first out of the inning.
Deepest part of the park. It's 413 out there. De Aza plays a very good center field. He gets to everything.
Right back there with the chlorine. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Haniger, and he pulls one foul. Haniger's been up twice and struck out twice. Swinging in the first, looking in the 3rd after his big debut last night. The characters are cavorting in the pool. You know, those character costumes tend to be pretty heavy as it is, and then you get them waterlogged.
Oh, they're in little cutoffs.
Good curveball by Neese, had Haniger flailing, and it's 1-2.
Like the old White Sox uniforms in the 70s. Bill Veeck. I must say those uniforms were terrible. Gary.
Well, it wasn't just the shorts, it was those collared shirts that they wore.
It was a very old-fashioned uniform, was it not?
Well, they were supposed to look like players from the 1890s. Neese strikes out Haniger for the 3rd time. That's his 6th strikeout of the night, and there are 2 out in the inning.
So Haniger having trouble with the curveball.
Well, here comes Terry Collins. Paul Goldschmidt's coming up. Eric Adell has been throwing in the bullpen. And we'll see how Terry handles this. He's going to take the baseball, and Goodell's going to come in. So Neese is out after 4 2/3 and 82 pitches in his first start back with the Mets. 1 bad inning for John, otherwise well done. Verizon called to the bullpen. We'll be right back. Eric Goeddel makes his second appearance in the series.
Well, he had pitched so much. He got hit pretty hard his last time out. And that was the first game in this series. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. Was hit hard. Hanging curveball. Gave up a home run to Tomas. But he's pitched well for the Mets since he's been recalled.
Comes in to face Paul Goldschmidt with 2 out and a runner at first. Goldschmidt walked and singled against John Neese. So Neese is out after 82 pitches, went 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs so far, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, a wild pitch, and the 2 home runs to Weeks and Tomas back to back in the 4th inning that have him behind in the game. Arno knocks it down. The pitcher Godley running at first, not going to go anywhere. It's 2-0. And Arno has to go down in the dirt to block that splitter, and it's 3-0.
He definitely spiked that one. Nice block. Oh, came up on his mask too.
Ricky Weeks, who homered his last time up, is on deck. Goldschmidt's got a green light, and he takes it high, and he's on base for the 3rd straight time. So Goeddel comes in and walks his first batter on 4 pitches. And now he'll face Weeks. He'll put the Diamondbacks in front with a 2-run homer against Neese in the 4th inning. John looked very good for the first 3 innings. Got in a little trouble in the 4th. Gave up a couple of bombs.
And he got 3 outs. He got the next 3 hitters out after that.
You have to say an encouraging outing, and I have to suspect if it hadn't been that he hadn't started a game in more than 5 weeks, he probably would have been allowed to finish that inning. Terry Danworthen probably got a little wary with his pitch count up in the 80s. And Weeks unloads again, deep left field. Back goes Granderson near the wall, and it's out of here. Ricky Weeks with his 2nd home run of the night. This one's a 3-run homer, and it puts the Diamondbacks up 6-1.
Well, Weeks had pinch hit twice in this series and struck out both times, but this game is a huge redeemer. Fastball meant to be away. You see it bleed in.
Well, Eric Goeddel had really been pitching well, but he got hammered in his inning of work on Monday night, and he gets greeted rudely tonight.
It closes the book on Mr. Neese.
Ricky Weeks, his first multiple home run game since 2013 and the 8th of his career. So Neese is charged with 4 runs on 4 hits over 4 2/3, but it's Goeddel who gives up the bomb to Weeks. And you mentioned the excessive work that Goeddel has had lately. This is the 6th time he's pitched in the last 9 days. And it certainly appears as though it's caught up to him.
And I don't feel that, physically. I mean, he's a tall, slender kid. He's not built like Robles. Robles, who needs the work. You can run Robles out there and give him the work. I don't think you can overload Goeddel. Got to be sparing with him. Use him when you can, but not overwork him.
Well, he's also had a history of elbow issues. I think that concerns you as well.
Another spiked splitter right there.
And the Mets going to get somebody else up in the bullpen. Goeddel has not thrown one good pitch yet. He walked Goldschmidt on 4 pitches, gave him the first pitch 3-run homer to Weeks. And now Seth Lugo gets up in the bullpen after he falls behind on Tomas 3-0.
Well, pitcher leads off next inning for the Mets, Goodell, so he'll definitely be pinch hit for. The Mets are down 5 big runs.
There's a strike, 3-1 to Tomas. Well, if Tomas gets on, they might bring Lugo in and double switch.
They could do that.
This game has gotten away very quickly. A game the Mets led 1-0, but 3 Diamondbacks home runs, 2 of them by Ricky Weeks, have changed the nature of this game in a hurry. And now Tomas is on with a walk. So Goodell's faced 3 batters, 2 walks sandwiched around a home run. He'll stay in to face one more hitter because Dan Worthing's going to the mound, not Terry Collins.
What do you tell a pitcher here? He's come in, he's walked the first batter, Goldschmidt, and give up a home run, and now another walk.
Kansas City Field for Family Sunday, August 28th. Watch the Mets take on the Phillies at 1:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Steven Matz lunch bag courtesy of Mr. Softy. After the game, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. Now Chris Owings, who's grounded to second and lined out to short, 0 for 2. And there's the best splitter that Goodell has thrown so far, 0-1.
And this 4th and 5th inning have not been kind to the Mets.
A lot of work for d'Arnaud getting down in the dirt to block those errant splitters from Goodell.
He's lost his feel for his split finger. My feeling is if you lost it, then go to your curveball. Nice block is right, Gary.
Takes the fastball below the knees, 2-1. Lugo looks like he's ready if needed. I figure Goodell gets this batter and no more. Terry Collins brought him in hoping he could just get one out and get him out of there. But now facing his 4th batter and still looking for that out. And Owings hits the curveball in the left field for a base hit. Tomas pulls in at second. Owings broke his bat, but dumps it into left. So 4 batters faced for Goodell. All 4 have reached, and that's going to be the end of his tenure. And now Terry will make a double switch and bring Lugo into the game. So 2 outings in this series for Eric Goodell. Neither have gone well. Lugo coming in 6-1 Arizona in the 5th. We'll be right back. Changes for the Mets. Ty Kelly comes in to play left field. He'll bat ninth. Curtis Granderson moves to center, and the new pitcher Seth Lugo will hit 8th in the order.
Well, 9th game for Seth since his been called up. He's a workhorse. He's another guy you can run out there and give you some innings. Got to keep the walks down.
He worked 2 innings on Monday night, gave up a run on 2 hits. Brandon Drury, first man to face him. Larry Goodell unable to figure it out. Faced 4 batters, walked 2, gave up a home run and a single.
Mechanics, that's what they're talking about.
Drury fouls back the slider. Brandon Drury has walked and flied out tonight. He's the 8th man up in this inning. Diamondbacks scored 3 in the second on back-to-back homers by Weeks and Tomas. Weeks striking again here in the 5th. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs for Weeks.
Well, needless to say, this is a big out. A double here, they're going to break this game wide open. Taking an awful long time. Jeez.
Well, the Mets have given up 21 runs already in this series. The Diamondbacks, with their 3 home runs tonight, now have 33 extra base hits in the 6 games against the Mets, 2 shy of the most extra base hits the Mets have ever given up in a season series. But Drury strikes out to end the inning, but not before more damage is done. Ricky Weeks' 2nd home run of the night makes it 6-1 Arizona after 5 in Phoenix. Sixth inning, Mets find themselves 5 runs behind. Ty Kelly up for the first time, came out on a double switch and takes a strike from Zach Godley, who's allowed the Mets just 1 hit over the first 5 innings. That came to the first man he faced, Jose Reyes, who found his way home. Godley's retired 9 in a row as he faces Kelly and quickly gets ahead of him 0-2. Kelly's had 43 big league at bats. He's hitting 186, better right-handed than left. Goes around halfway, but not far enough. Marvin Hudson says no swing. 1-2. Reyes on deck, then Kelly Johnson for the Mets in the 6th. It's got swept by the Diamondbacks in New York, in danger of losing 2 out of 3 in this series, the final meeting of the year.
And that would be 5 out of 6 that they would lose to this last place club, but not a golden opportunity here getting squandered.
Well, they've got 2 contending teams on the docket, the next 2 stops on this trip. Little chopper back to Godley, but it's over his head into no man's land, and Kelly has an infield hit. Fortunate for the Mets there that Godley wasn't a couple of inches taller.
Godley got stuck on the slant of the mound here. Kind of trying to backpedal uphill. It's tough to do.
So Kelly's aboard, the Mets' second hit of the night. And now Jose Reyes, who had the first one, he dribbled a base hit through the right side, came around to score on a wild pitch in the first inning. On Monday night, the Mets fell behind early. Were down 8-2 at one point before they battled back.
Well, this ballpark here, there's no lead that's safe.
And that's the Mets' hope tonight, that they can put together some offense in the middle of this game. And now Godley behind on Reyes, 2-0.
And don't forget the ERA, the team ERA of the Diamondbacks is 5.09 coming into this game. So they can give it up.
There's a strike, 2-1. Don't forget also that, as was the case with Neese, Godley has been out of the rotation for a while. His last start came nearly 3 weeks ago. Kelly Johnson on deck. Little chopper. That one's past Godley, but right to Segura. The backhand flip to Owings. The relay not in time. Neat work there between Segura and Owings to get the force, but Reyes still with enough speed to beat the rap at first.
Well, you can't do it any better than that. It's close at first base.
So Reyes replaces Kelly at first with 1 out. And now Kelly Johnson, who's been up twice and grounded out to the right side both times. Johnson elevated to the second spot in the batting order tonight. Terry Collins changing the look, moving Granderson down the lineup, trying to take a little pressure off Granderson. And Johnson takes a strike. Kelly Johnson, coming into the night, had the best home run rate of any Met player who's had at least 100 at bats this year. Better than Walker, better than Cespedes. Came in at a home run every 15 at bats after hitting his 7th as a Met last night. Cespedes 15.1, Walker 18.1. Of course, if you take away the caveat of more than 100 at bats, you know who has the best home run rate on the club? Noah Syndergaard. He has a home run every 14.3 at bats. Johnson chases, and it's 1-2.
Well, Godley so far has gotten Met batters to chase that curveball in the dirt. He has not gotten it over consistently. He has thrown it in the dirt a lot. We got to recognize that. I know it's easy up here and make him get that curveball up.
That's line into center field, a base hit for Kelly Johnson. Reyes pulls in at second, and now the Mets have 2 men on with Jay Bruce coming up.
Well, good 2-strike hitting by Kelly Johnson. Curveball in the dirt that he fished for, and he came back with a fastball down the pipe.
Well, Bruce has been up twice, pulled the ball into the shift both times and grounds it out.
And they will not play the shift this time because runners are on first and second. They cannot leave third base unoccupied with that lead runner Reyes at second base.
And a pickoff move, but no throw. Owings made the dash to the bag. A chance for Bruce to get the Mets right back into this game. Just 10 for 56 as a Met with 2 home runs in his first 15 games. And he lifts one to left field. Ricky Weeks right there. And that's the second out. So 2 out and 2 on. Loney coming up. Let's check in with the studio. Doug Williams has a game break brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Cardinals have won 4 in a row, and they maintain a 1-game lead in the second wild card over the Pirates, 2 over the Marlins, and right now 3.5 over the Mets. Loney's 0 for 2, robbed of a hit on a good play by Segura his last time up. And Godley misses low and away. James just 2 for his last 28. He's got Reyes at second and Johnson at first with 2 out. First time since the 3rd inning that the Mets have gotten a runner as far as second base. And now Godley behind 2-0. T.J. Rivera would be next.
Sinker ball pitcher. Loney can go the other way. Look at T.J. Rivera in the on deck circle. Owings at shortstop playing up the middle, giving that hole between third and short to Loney, and that's a sinker ball pitcher that's playing right into Loney's hands. He can go that way.
Flies it out to left, and right there waiting for it is Weeks. And that retires the side. So Godley works around a couple of hits in the top of the 6th and keeps the Diamondbacks up 6-1. Tuffy goes switch, leads off the bottom of the 6th and grounds one out to Reyes. 1 pitch and 1 out for Seth Lugo. Sunday on Jets Nation, the crew brings you an inside look at the ongoing position battles at camp, plus get an in-depth breakdown of Gang Green's first 2 preseason games on Jets Nation Inside Camp. New episode Sunday at 7, only on SNY. Zach Godley's had himself quite a night. Return to the rotation. He's pitched very well for 6 innings. Even as a base hit, he got a 3-run 5th inning started for the Diamondbacks. Came around to score on the Ricky Weeks' second home run of the night. Lugo ahead of him 0-2 and strikes him out with a curveball. Second strikeout for Lugo, has retired his first 3 hitters. 2 out and nobody on. Of course, when Lugo delivers the ball home, he delivers it along that old-fashioned strip of dirt between the mound and home plate. Second straight road series that the Mets have played in a ballpark that features that old-fashioned contrivance.
Detroit had it also. You're right, Gare, and I don't understand it. Do you?
Well, I think it's supposed to give an old-timey feel, because it used to be that, back in the early days of baseball, there was dirt between the mound and home plate. I think it certainly provides the pitcher with direction. This is the direction in which you're supposed to throw the ball. I'm not sure they all need that kind of guidance.
It's good for submariners, like if we can bowl.
Ronnie always says that the thing that bothers him about the dirt strip. It's hit out to center field by Segura, way back, and Granderson looks up, and it's off the wall in play, and Segura will pull into second base with a 2-out double. So as Segura continues to rake against the Mets, that's his 5th hit in this series, and his 3rd double.
Slider hanging, and this kid can hit. Go on about Ron, what he said about it.
Well, what Ronnie says is that with the dirt strip, you get spike marks in there, and that sometimes on a comebacker the ball might take a bad bounce because it's a little chewed up. Whereas if you have grass between the mound and home plate, it'll play truer.
And you wonder why it would get spiked up, because no one's going to field across there. The first baseman is when he comes back, the Goldschmidt is the third base dugout is you can run in. Always first basemen run inside between home and the mound, so you can spike up that strip, and vice versa. Kelly Johnson over at third base coming into the first base dugout,
or even the pitcher coming off the mound, or the catcher going out to the mound.
That's exactly right. I don't. It's not my cup of tea.
That's it hard, and Haniger's got a base hit. Segura being waved around third. The throw to the plate from Kelly on a hop, a perfect throw, and d'Arnaud puts down the tag for the 3rd out. Ty Kelly throwing a 1-hop straight to the plate to gun down the speedy Segura and end the inning. Can't make a better throw than this.
And also hit the cutoff man. Perfect throw.
And Segura was a dead duck as d'Arnaud got down after he got the ball and blocked the plate. Perfectly executed for the 3rd out. Join the debate as Chris Carlin and John Hein get you ready for tomorrow's Mets-Giants opener, plus all the latest from Jets and Giants camp on Loudmouth, presented by Cheapo Air tomorrow at 5:30 only on SNY. TJ Rivera 0 for 2 tonight after his 4 for 4 night last night. And he drives one toward the gap in left center field. Chasing back is Haniger. He won't get it. And it's all the way to the wall. And TJ Rivera pulls him at second base with his second major league double.
Well, continuing to hit. He hit in AAA. Gets that sinker, goes down and gets it.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on at second. And now Granderson has been up twice and struck out both times. Just the fourth Met hit of the night and their first extra base hit against Zach Godley. No action in the Arizona bullpen. As Granderson lines one and Segura able to reach in and grab it. Now the triangle defense paying off for the Diamondbacks there. Granderson hit it hard, but Segura, playing rover, was in the right spot to grab it.
You see the defense right there, the triangle defense as Gary called it, and it pays off here big time, and Granderson can only shake his head.
That was a base hit for 150 years, but not anymore. And somehow left-hand hitters who have shifts played against them are going to have to figure out a way to counteract it.
It's called bat control.
As Travis d'Arnaud's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. Rivera at second and 1 out. Off the plate, ball 1. Wilmer Flores out on deck to pinch hit with the pitcher's spot due up next. Godley only at 74 pitches with 1 out in the 7th. And d'Arnaud gets under one to center field. Can of corn for Haniger. 2 out. Well, Zach Godley had been working out of the bullpen for the Diamondbacks the last 3 outings. And started for them earlier in the year, just his 7th start of the season. And as Keith mentioned early, last year he came up, made 6 starts, was 5-1, 3.19, and they were very encouraged with that. But remember, the Diamondbacks went out and they signed Zach Greinke to a big free agent contract. They traded for Shelby Miller, and that left no room in the rotation for Zach Godley. Started the year in the minor leagues. But he's got a spot now. He's pitching very well tonight. Wilmer Flores pinch hitting, takes ball 1. Wilmer started last night, or excuse me, opening game of the series, and had 2 hits. He pinch hit last night and struck out in his only at bat. And he bloops one down the right side. That'll go foul. Almost had himself another soft hit. Keith's laughing because Wilmer seems to get more soft hits than anybody else.
He's hit some balls hard too.
Yeah.
But he's gotten a lot of bleeders and broken bat bloops. It's almost like you feel bad. You want to maybe give him away to charity or something. But you take him any way you can get him.
Well, as the Mets offense continues to struggle tonight, here are 3 pieces of good news. 1, as Asdrubal Cabrera might rejoin the team as early as tomorrow. 2, Yoenis Cespedes will definitely play Friday in San Francisco. And 3, Michael Conforto is 12 for 18 since going down to Las Vegas. And I wonder how long, if he continues to rake, he's been doing it now for the better part of a week, how long it will be before the Mets call Conforto back. Of course, they have to have a spot for him to play.
and they'll make a spot for him.
Well, if he continues to hit like that, if Cespedes is back, they'll play Conforto in center field if they have to. If he's hitting. Full count now to Flores. The problem is that he went down to Vegas the last time and hit, but when he got back to the big leagues, it didn't translate. So do they need more of a sample size down there this time?
But this one is seriously hot, and it'd be interesting to see.
12 for 18 is seriously hot.
Yes.
3-2 to Flores. Ty Kelly waiting on deck, and Gosuich needs a conversation with Godley. Chip Bell has watched so many of his pitchers struggle this year. He's got to be just beside himself at how good a performance he's gotten tonight from Zach Godley. In his return to the rotation, they moved Patrick Corbin, longtime starting pitcher, into the bullpen to give Godley another shot, and he has run with it tonight. 3-2 to Flores. And Wilmer hits the curveball on the ground to short. And Owings with the overhand throw to get him. Side retired. So the Mets waste a leadoff double from T.J. Rivera. 7th inning stretch time in Arizona with the Diamondbacks still up 6-1. All the latest news from Jets camp as SNY's NFL insider Ralph Vacchiano breaks down Gang Green's offense with in-depth analysis straight from Florham Park on the JetsBlog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Gabriel Ynoa will make his third major league appearance.
Well, his major league debut brought him a win against the Padres in one clean inning of work. He was primarily a starter down in Las Vegas, 23 starts. He was 10-5, but he is looking to eat up innings here for the Mets. He's came up to be a middle reliever.
And he'll face Paul Goldschmidt leading off in the bottom of the 7th. Diamondbacks ahead 6-1. Goldschmidt's been on base 3 times tonight with 2 walks and a single, and he's scored 2 runs. The guy behind him, Ricky Weeks, has done most of the damage. And Ynoa's first pitch outside for ball 1. John Neese went 4 2/3 in his first start since his return to the Mets. Gave up 4 runs and 4 hits. Eric Goodell did not retire a batter, charged with 2 runs and 2 hits. Seth Lugo worked an inning and a third, gave up no runs and 2 hits. And now Ynoa pitching in the 7th. Goldschmidt in 6 games against the Mets this year, 11 hits and 20 at bats. Chops one foul. He has just been on fire.
He was 2-0 there, Gary, looking for something middle in to lift, and he missed it. He picks his spots.
And takes one on the corner for a strike. Popped up foul. That'll come back out of play. Did you see yesterday the catch that Anthony Rizzo made on the foul pop up at Wrigley Field?
I did not.
He went to that concrete railing, stood on it, reached down with his glove into the stands, plucked the ball, backed up, jumped off, and stuck the landing. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Oh, he jumped up on top of
No,
the...
he jumped up on top
with his feet.
Yeah,
so he was standing on top
with both feet on the concrete railing, right? Reached down into the stands about 2 rows deep at about ankle high.
How did it not fall down?
Back, I don't know. It's amazing. Reached forward, plucked it, and then jumped backwards and got off cleanly. Goldschmidt has his second hit of the night, on base for the 4th straight time. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
I bet. That's a backup slider inside. A little bit of a toe tap. No stride with Goldschmidt, and he's got a little bit of a peculiar swing. He's very steep with his swing. He kind of, on a ball up, he kind of chops down. I haven't quite figured out his swing, but it works for him. I'm not going to get him in the cage and try to change him.
Here's Ricky Weeks, who's had a career night tonight. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, both matching career highs. Eighth time in his career that Weeks has hit 2 home runs in a game, and the first time since 2013 with the Brewers. Hit a 2-run homer off Neese in the 4th and a 3-run homer off Goodell in the 5th. Goes after his sinker, and it's 1-1. There's the 1-1 to Weeks, and he threw it by on 1-2. Keith, do you happen to know a good eye doctor in the Phoenix area?
I don't, and I don't even know one in the San Francisco Bay Area because I've been gone for so long.
I was just wondering that, you know, in case we need some ophthalmologic advice while we're in town here, there might be a place to go. Maybe the Schwartz teamidoc.com.
Oh.
I was just thinking maybe if we needed any kind of assistance in that area.
Well, that's a nice spot for that ad, isn't it?
I don't know. Are they coast to coast? Two coming, and Weeks takes off the plate and a full count. Gabriel Ynoa making his 3rd big league appearance. First one was on Saturday night. He got a win after working a 1-2-3 inning. Then Sunday gave up a run in the 9th inning. 23-year-old from the Dominican trying to settle in at the big league level. 3-2 to Weeks with Goldschmidt at first and nobody out. Three-two from Manoah, and Weeks takes it inside, ball 4. So rocky beginning for Manoah as he walks Weeks. Here are the 2 bombs that Weeks hit earlier.
Well, 7th home run here off Nice. Turned on that ball in. This one off Goodell. Middle in fastball. He's had himself quite a day, driven in 4 runs.
So 2 on and nobody out. Now Yasmani Tomas, who homered right after Weeks did in the 4th inning. It gave the Diamondbacks a 3-1 lead. Weeks' second shot made it 6-1, and Zach Godley has done the rest for Arizona with 7 terrific innings. So Inoue in instant trouble, 1st and 2nd and nobody out. And Tomas skies one to center field, chasing Granderson back near the wall, and it's off the top of the wall. It's in play. Goldschmidt scores. Weeks being waved home. The throw goes to third. Tomas slides in safely with a 2-run triple. And it's 8-1 Arizona. For Tomas's first triple of the season, and he has a 3 RBI night.
Well, one of the idiosyncrasies of this ballpark, it's 407 to dead central. I just think they should lower that center field home run line there.
The line is 25 feet high, and you have to get it over the yellow line for it to be a home run.
Not a very good read by the back runner there in Weeks, but hustling all the way. I guess you play here, you know, you really got to. Well, he's not hustling. He's in his El Dorado. And now he's got to get into his little Jaguar here.
The infield comes in. Owings is drilled by the pitch. So after Inoue gives up a single, a walk, and a 2-run triple, next pitch hits Chris Owings.
Well, we'll see what Arizona does with that, because that could be interpreted as intentional. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure. You got a 23-year-old pitcher out there. But this certainly, they wanted to come in, and he certainly did.
Got him on the back pocket.
And it's always a lot of padding back there, Gary.
Some more than for others. So Inoue has faced 4 batters and retired none of them. 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Brandon Drury coming up. This game has gotten completely away from the Mets.
Yes, it has.
Game that started promisingly. They had a 1-0 lead into the 4th. John Neese was pitching well, but it blew up on him, and the bullpen has been of no help. Drury takes a strike. Here's where Tomas's ball hit. It's 25 feet up to the yellow line. He hit about 22 feet up.
I just think it should be where the lower padding is. I mean, that's a long way out there. It's 413 on both sides of that 407. That's a long way.
I can understand why they do it that way, though, Keith, because the ball flies so well in this ballpark that if you lowered that home run line, balls would be flying out of here all the time.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, there are plenty of home runs hit here as it is. But I can understand you advocating for, you know, a little break for the offensive player.
I'm sure Ronnie would not would not agree.
Probably not. 0-2 to Drury. And the slider off the plate, 1-2. So you had Goodell come into the game in the 5th inning, faced 4 batters and retired none of them. Now you've had Inoue come into the game, faced 4 batters, retired none of them. Josh Edgin is up in the Mets bullpen. So it has not been a stellar night for the Mets pitching staff. Drury bloops one into shallow right. On comes Bruce to get it. Tagging at third is Tomas. He's coming on in, and he'll score to make it 9-1 Arizona. Sacrifice fly for Brandon Drury. So 3 runs home for the Diamondbacks here in the 7th, their third 3-run inning of the night. And now the birthday boy, Tuffy Gosewich, who's gone 0 for 3 on his 33rd birthday. And the way this game is going, Zach Godley, who's standing on deck, might have a chance to go 9 innings. Thrown 80 pitches through 7 innings. Been efficient. He's worked quickly. He's got a base hit to his credit. He's had a good night. Gosewich hits it hard. That should be 2. Nice pick by Johnson. The turn by Rivera for the 5-4-3 double play. Neatly started by Johnson on a hard hit ball. That brings an end to an inning that saw the Diamondbacks add 3 more runs. Taking that hot shot like it's nothing. That's why they call it the hot corner. 9-1 Arizona. Tonight's starters, Jonathan Neese had 3 good innings and 1 bad one. Zach Godley's had 7 very good innings.
Yes, he has.
And he's got the 9-1 lead as he takes them out for the 8th. Ty Kelly leads off for the Mets in the top of the 8th. Had an infield hit and is only at bat. Also has thrown out a runner at the plate after coming off the bench.
Well, not a good start here on this road trip. This game's not over, but looks a little bleak.
You think?
What do you think? How much audience do we have right now? So what time is it back there? It's almost 12 o'clock.
It's not yet midnight. It's only 11:47.
People got to work tomorrow.
Well, here's what I know. I know that there's a certain number of people that once the Mets get a certain amount of runs behind,
they check
will
out.
Go to bed.
Okay.
What there's another group of people who will watch from first pitch to last pitch no matter what. Now there's a group of people in the middle, some of whom might stay with us and some of whom might check out, and most of them stay with us for one reason. They want to hear what you're going to say next.
Me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I'm pretty much, I'm going to say the same stuff most of the time, but you You're the wild card.
Is that the case, really?
Nobody knows exactly what's going to come out of your mouth next, so you have to keep listening because you don't want to miss it.
Well, I should have held out for more money in the negotiations.
Oh, boy. I'd love to be your agent. Well, their doppelgangers are in the stands. Not quite measuring up to the fine flowing locks of Messrs. Syndergaard and DeGrom. 3-2 coming to Kelly, and that's outside ball 4. So Kelly's on for the second straight time.
I'm just telling you right now. Read the middle billboards, Gary, and then we'll get back.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the New York Mets. And by the State Farm agent of the game, John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John at johngarfinkel.com. See, this is what I'm saying. People don't tune in necessarily to hear me read the middle billboards. They're staying tuned to hear what you're going to say next.
Okay.
Reyes flies one out to left, and it's caught by Weeks for the first out. And before Keith says anything more, we're going to check in with the studio. Doug Williams has another game break brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. I think some of those who check out, Doug, probably set their alarm for Geico Sports Night later. That's a whole different crowd. Here's Kelly Johnson with one out and one on.
I was just texted here by our colleague, Mr. Darling. He must be bored. I'm watching.
See, because he wants to hear what you're going to say next.
I think, Ronnie, I know the baby's keeping you up.
Oh, is it feeding time? Johnson lines one up the middle, a base hit. So Kelly's got his second straight hit. And the Mets have 2 men on in the 8th. Just the 5th hit of the night for New York, and Johnson has 2 of them.
Well, Kelly just continues to like to wear the blue and orange. He has played well for the Mets. Very spread out stance, little stride, hardly any stride. Just lifts his foot and puts it back down.
So first and second and 1 out, and Chip Hale's on his way out to the mound. They just got somebody up in that bullpen for the Diamondbacks, so this might be time killing. They've got the lefty Steve Hathaway throwing, and they're going to go right to the bullpen. So Hathaway didn't get more than half a dozen warm-up tosses, but Godley is exiting and Hathaway's coming in. Quite a night for Zach Godley. His return to the rotation for the Diamondbacks. Leaves after 91 pitches and 7 1/3 innings. Hathaway coming in. We'll be right back to Arizona. 10th appearance for the Boston area native Steve Hathaway comes in to face Jay Bruce, who pops the first pitch foul.
He appeared in the first game of this series in that 10-6 Arizona win. Didn't get anybody out. 2 singles and a walk. They all wound up scoring his runs.
Bruce is 0 for 3 tonight. 2 groundouts and a flyout. There you see the numbers on Hathaway. He's had particular trouble against the left-hand hitters. And facing the left-hand hitter in Bruce, who had a 4-pitch walk against Hathaway in that game Monday night. Kelly at second, Kelly Johnson at first. And Bruce rips it down the line, and that's a fair ball going into the corner. Kelly will score. Johnson on his way to third. He's going to be held up as Bruce pulls in with an RBI double. Tim Teufel taking no chances with his team way behind. But Bruce drives in his 86th run of the year to make it 9-2.
Ripped down the right field line. And Bruce is starting to swing the bat a little better. Got a couple hits last night.
So Hathaway's now faced 4 hitters in this series and still hasn't retired anybody. And now James Loney will try and keep the inning going for New York. Loney is 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout, a ground out, a fly out. 2 in scoring position with 1 out. The infield, of course, back with a 7-run lead. And the breaking ball outside from Hathaway. Jay Bruce came into the day tied for 3rd in the National League in RBIs. Now has 86. The first 80 of them with the Reds, the last 6 with the Mets. Ball to strike to Loney. That run is charged to Zach Godley, and he's still responsible for 1 more. But a fine effort by Godley. 7 1/3, 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a wild pitch. Loney laces 1 foul. 1-2. Steve Hathaway, 14th round pick by the Diamondbacks out of Franklin Pierce College in Rindge, New Hampshire. Acton Boxborough High School just outside Boston. Breaking ball down to Loney, 2-2. You know, Ronnie always takes pride in those pitchers from Massachusetts. He always had a soft spot for Steve Cishek. Two coming, and Loney takes a fastball for strike 3 call. So Hathaway finally retires a hitter in this series, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Now T.J. Rivera coming up, and Chip Hale on his way to the mound in a 9-2 game. It would appear he's about to make a lefty-righty switch. Wow.
Yeah.
Connie excessive.
Connie Mack.
So Jake Barrett, the Diamondbacks' purported closer, will come into a 9-2 game, and we'll be right back. Final out in the top of the 8th.
9-2 ball game. Managing by the book. Can't be second guessed now, that's for sure.
Barrett's first appearance in the series. T.J. Rivera takes a strike. Rivera hit a long double to left center his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night after his 4 for 4 night last night. 9 hits and 25 at bats so far in the major leagues for T.J. Rivera. He bats with 2 in scoring position and 2 out, with the Mets down 9-2 in the 8th. Barrett with a good slider to get ahead 0-2. Early in the season, Brad Ziegler was closing games for the Diamondbacks. He's now in Boston. They had Tyler Clippard in their bullpen. He's now with the Yankees. Josh Edgins staying busy in the Mets bullpen. So Barrett has inherited the closer's role of late. Rivera grounds one down to third. Drury makes the long throw in the dirt, but scooped out by Goldschmidt to end the inning. That's cash 1 run on Bruce's double, but it's 9-2 Arizona as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Standings, the Giants now a game and a half out of first place after leading for more than 3 months. They are 9-21 since the All-Star break, and to tell us why that is, here's Steve Gelb. Steve?
Yeah, Gary, nothing going right for the Giants at this point in time, especially on offense. Just 23 home runs in the 30 games since the All-Star break. They're struggling with runners in scoring position the same way the Mets are. 201 batting average with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. Brandon Belt, who was an all-star this year, struggling in the second half. Hunter Pence, he's come back from the hamstring injury, has not been the same guy, though, yet to get going. And perhaps the most concerning thing for the Giants moving forward is that Buster Posey has a back problem that the Giants expect will last the rest of the season. And Bruce Bochy has said he may not be able to play every day for the rest of the year.
It doesn't seem to bother him when he plays, though. He had 2 hits yesterday, had 3 hits more today. Also hyperextended his elbow. I don't know how much pain that Posey's in, but it doesn't seem to affect his play when he's actually in there.
Posey said he's only in pain when he's running, but the concerning thing, I think, are the comments from Bochy saying that he may not be able to play him every day.
Well, that's certainly a concern for the Giants, not just in terms of his offense, but for the way he handles the pitching staff. And you know, the other piece about the Giants is that their bullpen, which was spectacular the first half of the year, has been awful since the All-Star break. And so they've let a lot of games get away late. Santiago Casilla, their closer, now has 6 blown saves for the year. That's ripped to shortstop off the bat of Phil Gosselin, and Caught by Reyes. 1 out. You know, the funny thing about Steve is normally we throw it down to Steve Gelbs, but this time because of an equipment malfunction, I threw it 3 feet to my right to Steve Gelbs. It's very odd, Steve.
You know, I might break the equipment from here on out because I like doing it from up in here. This is a good view.
Well, it gets a little crowded up here, though.
I'm not sure that this much togetherness is good for us, and you're not wearing the right shirt anyway.
Well, that's because I didn't know this was happening, but I can easily change that. I have 1 or 2 of those SNY polos.
Really? You've got a couple stocked away?
I've got a couple, yeah.
You know
Noah Syndergaard gave me one.
You know what they say? 3's company, 4's a crowd.
Well, there's only 3 right
here's
here.
What I'd like to, here's what I'd like to know, Steve. We're going to San Francisco for a 4-game series, and we're broadcasting night games from San Francisco the next 2 nights. And you know, this is your second full year around the league. I want to know from the experience's standpoint how you packed for the games in San Francisco.
Gary, I am good to go. Sweaters. I have the SNY jacket.
Oh.
Had no idea what I was doing last year. Good to go now.
So there was a little bit of freezing going on at AT&T Park. That's lined into center field. A base hit for Segura, his second hit of the night. Now I'm told that there was not actually a malfunction in your equipment, but that you deliberately packed the RF microphone, the one that you normally use, the wireless microphone, that you packed it away for the trip to San Francisco so that you could intrude into the booth.
I wish I was that smart. I was standing there ready to go with the report, and my audio just went dead. Went totally dead.
Keith, do you believe this?
Anything from Steve, I believe. I can believe it.
Next time, though, if it happens again, be wary.
I'm already a little wary, Steve.
Did you get your seat assignment for the flight yet?
Yeah. 17B.
I'm 18B.
Are you?
I'm right behind you.
I texted Wayne Randazzo, asked him what his seat assignment was. Didn't get an email, but he said, if you're 17B, I know I'm 17A.
That's the new airplane they have, folks. That it's really quite nice, but we have seat assignments on it.
So Keith, you're sitting behind Steve.
Yes, I think you're going to be in 18A.
I'll be next to you, but are you going to be kicking Steve's seat during the flight? You know, some people. I mean, anybody who's flown, there's ball 4 to Haniger, and there are 2 men on. Anybody who's flown knows that, you know, sometimes you get a person behind you who's just not particularly well versed in how they affect their neighbors on a flight.
The worst one is when you have a little brat kid behind you that's sitting on mom's lap and he's kicking the back of your seat, and mom's not disciplining them. That's the one that drives me nuts.
Keith, I think I sat in front of you on the flight out here that was delayed 4.5 hours.
Oh my God!
And I was cognizant. I wanted to lean the chair all the way back.
You could.
I wasn't sure how you were going to take that.
There's plenty of room.
So I'm good tonight.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We don't get into 1:30.
Good to know.
You won't be in bed until 2:15. Neither will I.
That would be 5:15 Eastern time for anybody who's planning to call Steve and wake him up tomorrow morning.
It's a good idea just to put a no hold on your calls.
Well, that doesn't really work on your cell phone, Keith.
Airplane mode.
It is one of the occupational hazards of doing these games in the Pacific time zone is that, you know, we're finished with work late and going to sleep in what would be the time that people in the East are waking up. And sometimes, you know, they figure, I'm going to paste that 9 o'clock phone call. Not always appreciated on the other end.
Got one today.
Was it one that you welcomed?
It was not one that I welcomed. Went right back to sleep.
It's good that you're young and you can do that. Meanwhile, Edgin struggling. He gave up a base hit to Segura. A 4-pitch walk to Haniger. Now behind on Goldschmidt, 3-0. Very dangerous spot for Josh, who now issues a second straight 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded. Well, Steve, it's very nice of you to find your way into the booth, and next time make sure you're dressed for the occasion.
Thanks for having me, boys.
You're welcome. How do you like this park? You like it or no? You're the one that roves around.
I like the park. I like the park when I was standing out there in center field. I like the park out there. I don't love my camera well position here though.
Because
it's underneath the dugout overhang.
Okay, I got
and
you.
the air doesn't circulate, so it's incredibly hot down there.
Okay, that's interesting.
All the more reason to be wearing the SNY polo.
It's a flight night. I had to dress with the button down
That's right.
for the flight.
See
All right,
ya.
boys.
I'll see you at 17B.
I'll lean back and I'll do it without worrying. See you later, guys.
Steve Gelbs making the booth cameo. Well, here's Ricky Weeks with a chance to put a capper on his big night. He's already got a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer, and he bats here with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th, and it goes to the backstop. The flip by Darnell will not be made, and Segura scores. Wild pitch brings in the 10th Arizona run, and there was not a whole lot of effort there to make that play at the plate.
No, Josh did not cover home.
Looked like when Darno caught the carom that he had time to get that ball to Edgin, but Darno never made the flip. So now runners at second and third as this game has completely fallen apart. The Mets bullpen has just had an awful night. John Neese threw 3 scoreless innings to start the game, gave up 2 home runs in the 4th, exited in the 5th with the game in hand. It was 3-1, and it got out of hand very quickly when Eric Goodell got touched for Weeks' 2nd home run of the night. And Gabriel Ynoa had a very rough go of it in the 7th inning, gave up 3 runs, and now Edgin struggling here in the 8th. So 2 limping teams will be meeting tomorrow night in San Francisco, and both will be counting on their aces to get them straightened.
And one game doesn't get you straightened up, though, and the Giants are hurting, and the Mets are getting people back.
Jerry Blevins, the next man up in the Mets bullpen. Well, it'll be fun to watch nonetheless. DeGrom and Bumgarner tomorrow night at AT&T Park in the opening game of the series. Bumgarner's had a very good year, 11-7, 2.11 ERA. DeGrom may be pitching as well as anybody in baseball right now.
And with as much bad luck as anybody in baseball. He has been the hard luck pitcher for the Mets. Only 7-5. Was 7-5 or 8-5?
7-5. Now that strike 3 called. Weeks flips the bat away. I don't know what he has to be angry about after this night.
That's a strike. He's mad at himself. He knows it's a strike. He's mad at himself, Garrett.
So 2 out. Now Yasmani Tomas, who's had a big night with a homer and a triple, 3 RBIs. Diamondbacks putting up double digits for the 2nd time in this series. They scored 10 runs on Monday night. 10 more runs tonight. And Edgin finds himself behind again, 2-0. Tonight after the post game, it's Geico Sports Night. Doug Williams will be in the chair, and so much to talk about. And then there's hiking in Arizona. I don't know about the kayak, though. I think we retired that once Kevin departed. Tomas hits one deep to center. Granderson back, looking up near the wall, and that's out of here.
Oh my God.
Yasmani Tomas caps off a huge night with a 3-run homer. A 6 RBI night for Tomas, 2 home runs and a triple. Wow. And a 13-run night for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lead 13-2.
He is a strong man.
25 home runs for Yasmani Tomas. The 7th time this year he's had multiple home run games. That's more than anybody else in the majors this year. A triple, 2 homers, 6 RBIs for Tomas. Edgin knocks down the comebacker from Owings. That finally puts a capper on the inning, but 4 more runs for the Diamondbacks. 3 of them driven in by Tomas. 13-2 Arizona going to the 9th. Thanks. Phil Gosselin stays in the game at second base. Dominic Leone will pitch the 9th inning. Pride of Norwich, Connecticut. Comes in to make his 17th appearance. Curtis Granderson leading off for the Mets in the top of the 9th. Travis d'Arnaud on deck, and then the pitcher's spot. A lost night for the Mets. They long ago had a 1-0 lead. But the Diamondbacks getting 2 home runs apiece from Ricky Weeks and Yasmani Tomas. Those 2 combining for 11 RBIs tonight. Granderson gets a hold of one and drives one deep into the seats in right field. That's long gone. So Granderson hits his 19th home run of the year. And that might be the saving grace of this game if Granderson can use that at bat to get himself going. That makes it 13-3.
Oh, hanging helicopter. Hovering.
Curtis had been in a 15-for-94 skid over the last month before that home run. Now d'Arnaud takes ball 1. Travis 0 for 3 tonight after going 7 for 10 in his previous 3 games. Rene Rivera is out on deck to pinch hit for New York. Mets are a couple of players shy on the bench. They're going with an extra pitcher right now, and Neil Walker's unavailable. Walker sitting out a 2nd straight game with a stiff lower back. So they only had 3 bench players coming into the night. d'Arnaud is nicked by the pitch. He goes to first base. So the Mets have a base runner with nobody out. Just grazed his uniform shirt. And now Rene Rivera will come up. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, goes out for a visit.
Really?
The composition of the Mets bench should change tomorrow. There's every chance that Asdrubal Cabrera is going to be activated for tomorrow's game. There's also a chance Justin Ruggiano may be activated. Remember him? He got to the Mets, played a couple of games, and went down with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, he was going to be playing center field against left-handers. His career has been one where he has had success against left-handers.
So the Mets are likely to excise a pitcher when that all comes down, and one of their bench players, and then they'll be back to a full complement of 5 on the bench. And then Friday night, Yoenis Cespedes is due to be activated, and the Mets will have to make another player move.
Well, Mets have walked 7 batters in this game, and 4 of them have scored.
Rene Rivera started last night, went 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Sac fly, he hit 410 feet. He was robbed of extra bases on a great play by Michael Bourne. So Leon still trying to get his first out, and now falls behind on Rivera 2-0. The last thing that Chip Hale wants to do is have to get another pitcher warmed up. Started this inning with an 11-run lead.
That's right, and if you can't hold a 13-3 lead, then maybe you start carrying a lunch pail.
And Rivera cracks one to deep center field. Haniger going back, taking a look, and it's out of here. Rene Rivera with the Mets' second home run of the inning. A 2-run shot, his 5th of the year. And now it's 13-5. And Chip might have to think about another pitcher. So Granderson goes deep. d'Arnaud is hit by a pitch, and Rene Rivera unloads a 2-run pinch hit home run.
Well, he hit one the other night that was caught in front of the 413 sign, but this one was hit out of sight.
Now Ty Kelly up for the 3rd time. He's reached base on an infield hit and a walk in his first 2 plate appearances. Well, it's probably too little too late, but the Mets with some late long balls from Granderson and Rivera.
Off the 12th pitcher on the staff.
Well, Keith, you know, it ain't over till it's over.
You got to fatten up your average no matter what's out there, Gary.
I mean, stranger things may not have happened, but you never know.
You never know. That's what Joaquin said. I told me that all the time.
There's no clock. You can't go into victory formation. That's hooked into right field, and that's going to fall. And Ty Kelly has a base hit. He'll try for 2 and make it easily. So 4 straight Mets have reached base to start this 9th inning. Kelly now 2 for 2 and a walk.
How much longer as Chip Hale, slider down, went down and reached and got it. How much longer are you going to keep this guy out here?
Well, Randall Delgado just started loosening up in the Arizona bullpen. As we said, that was the last thing Chip wanted to do, was to get another reliever up, but no choice now with Leon struggling so mightily. Home run, hit batsman, home run, double. 13-5. Still nobody out in the inning. Jose Reyes the batter. Reyes 1 for 4 tonight, singled leading off the game and scored a run that at the time gave the Mets a 1-0 lead. And Leon really struggling. Spiked that fastball for ball 1. Just when Diamondback fans thought it was safe to go back in the pool. There's a strike, 1-1. Kelly Johnson, who has a couple of hits tonight, waiting on deck. Boy. 2-1 to Reyes.
There is one other game still going on, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Where would that be?
That would be in Anaheim.
Oh, Timbuktu.
Don't let Mickey hear you say that. Fly ball out to left. And Weeks is there to grab it, and that is the first out of the inning. The Mariners lead the Angels 4-2 in the sixth. The Angels snapped an 11-game losing streak last night.
I got to think that Scioscia's job has got to be in jeopardy.
Well, it's been there, what, 12, 13 years?
Yeah, a long time.
He won the power struggle from Jerry Dipoto.
Yes, he did.
But he may lose out after this year. Kelly Johnson fouls one off. Kelly is 2 for 4, single to center field in each of his last 2 at bats. What's tough from a Major League Baseball perspective is you've got the guy who may well be the best player in baseball playing in an outpost where nobody's paying any attention. Talking, of course, about Mike Trout.
Well, you're still in the Los Angeles area. I know that they take a back seat to the Dodgers, but still, it's the #2 market, the whole metropolitan area of Los Angeles. I know.
When you're 20 games under 500.
Yep.
As the Mets well know, you know, when you're not doing well, it doesn't matter what market you're in. 0-2 to Johnson. Up and away. Jay Bruce waiting on deck. Dominic Leone called upon by Chip Hill to put on the finishing touches and staggering to the finish. Kelly at second with 1 out. 1-2 to Johnson. And he golfs one foul. Well, barring a miracle finish, the Mets will be back at 500 for the season. And there'll be 4 games out of the second wild card spot as they start their series in San Francisco tomorrow night.
They've just had a tough time putting 2 wins back to back, haven't they?
They got the 2 Saturday and Sunday, Sunday and Monday against the Padres and the Diamondbacks. No, Saturday and Sunday against the Padres, right?
Right.
That was the first time in nearly 6 weeks.
Since July 6 and 7, if I recall.
Hit toward the hole, and Kelly's got his 3rd hit of the night. Ty Kelly will stop at 3rd. Kelly Johnson aboard. The Mets' 4th hit of the inning.
Wow.
And that's going to be all for Dominic Leone.
Jeez.
Brought in with an 11-run lead in the 9th inning, but forced out after retiring just 1 batter. Mets have scored 3 in the 9th, 13-5 Arizona. Randall Delgado coming in, and we'll be right back to Phoenix. Randall Delgado called upon to try and get the final 2 outs tonight.
Well, someone's going to get it sooner or later. Because there's no time, Garrett. There's no time limit on the game. Someone's got to get the final out.
No clock. Jay Bruce had an RBI double his last time up in the 8th. Mets have scored 3 runs in the 9th inning on home runs by Granderson and Rene Rivera. And now Bruce trying to keep it moving. 1st and 3rd and 1 out. James Loney on deck. Delgado's 2nd appearance in this series. And Bruce fouls it off, and it's 1-2. Delgado worked on Monday night. Issued a bases loaded walk. And then gave up 2 sacrifice flies. So it was not a spotless outing for Delgado. He came in with a big lead in that game as well. And he strikes out Bruce for the 2nd out.
Okay.
So now the Mets are down to their final out of the night.
Change up sinking.
James Loney 0 for 4 tonight. He has struck out twice. Just 2 hits in his last 30 at bats. First pitch at 10:15 Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow night. Make sure you get a nap, because it's Jacob deGrom and Madison Bumgarner. You're not going to want to miss it.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Not you.
Oh,
Them.
Oh.
The ones in the Eastern time.
There's no one listening right now, Garrett.
Oh, yes, there is. We're all waiting to hear what you say next.
I hope Ronnie's listening.
And now the Mets are down to their final strike.
Well,
you know, it's like Joe DiMaggio said. There's always somebody who might be seeing me for the first time.
that's right. He did say that.
Oh-2 coming, and the curveball sits outside. 1-2. Randall Delgado, the former Brave. To see Dansby Swanson got his first 2 big league hits tonight.
We saw it actually together in Eats room before our game started.
Former Diamondback first-round draft pick, first overall pick. Loney lays off 2-2. It's got to cause heartache here in Arizona when they see that. All they can hope for is that Shelby Muller, whom they acquired for Swanson, can regain his form. Muller's been pitching a little better down in the minors. Hope to be back here in September. 2-2. And Loney grounds 1 to second. Goslin's got it. And that'll do it. The Diamondbacks take the rubber game of this series. Huge nights for Ricky Weeks and Yasmani Tomas. Those two combined for 4 home runs and 11 runs driven in. Far too much for the Mets to overcome, as the Diamondbacks take 5 out of 6 in the season series from the Mets, winning tonight 13-5.
Well, this one's by the boards now, so it's a lost opportunity. We're down, what, 42 games left? They're all important for the wild card, and they did not take advantage of a last place Diamondback ball club.
Well, the Diamondbacks did plenty of hitting in this series. They scored 28 runs in the 3 games, as they take 2 out of 3 from the Mets after sweeping them in New York last week. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event. Get exceptional limited time offers on a Lincoln of your choice. By People's United Bank NA. See what know-how can do for you. By Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. And by Tri-Honda. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on 2016 models. Final score tonight, the Diamondbacks 13 and the Mets 5. Tomorrow night, the Mets open a 4-game series in San Francisco with Jacob deGrom against Madison Bumgarner in a marquee pitching matchup. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock tomorrow night right here on SNY. Now for Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen in Phoenix. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa in the studio. Guys?